Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What up? This is Shan, and this is Cozy Womb Podcast. This is Ari. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Anya.
Hi.
What up?
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
What up? It's Shan. This is Cozy Womb Podcast. This is just a drive-in. Hope you guys are enjoying your morning. So far, my morning is going as planned. Good. Today I wanted to talk about raising kings and queens. Yes, because, personally, as a parent, I want my children to surpass my successes. I want them to be just great. Like, I want to, as a parent, as an older parent, I want to be oozing with things to talk about their accomplishments, just the way they carry themselves, the respect that they give as adults, as growing teenagers when they walk in the room. I want to be so happy in my inside that I don't have to say certain things that I want them to do, and they just do it. And the only way you would ever have children like that is by starting now with the respect and the standards and the guidelines, and not being biased when it comes to if you're raising a son or a daughter, and just teaching them self-love and self-knowledge and self-respect, because that's one thing I'm seeing on a consistent basis now as an older adult and also as a parent, is nobody's really putting the effort and the time in as parents with these teenagers or these young growing adults. Nobody's spending that quality time. Nobody's correcting them. Everybody's waiting for the result, then correction, and you can't do that. You can't be upset if you never prep them to be faced with a challenge that won't give the results that you're now trying to clean up. You kind of have, your job as a parent is to give your child the tools to be able to maneuver through life. And the only way you can do that is by allowing them to, fall sometimes, allowing them to be resourceful and figure out a way on how to do something instead of going on the computer and pressing Google. Like, you have to teach them to do for themselves when they are in trouble, so they don't always want to call you, or they don't always want to come grab you to fix it. And let's focus on like our young queens. Like, stop the entitlement now. Stop the limited thinking now on what our young women can become as adults, because I take my girls to the library like every other week, and I want to spend like at least an hour or 2 hours in there just exploring and doing things. And on the calendar in there, as a parent, I want to see like what they're offering free for like my kids to do. And they have a girl coding class every Thursday that they do and teach young girls how to code. And right now in the tech world that we have, that's a smart thing to do. As a parent, I want my child to be just exposed to it, so she can have 2 cents to give if that's a topic in school, or when that comes in front of her, she doesn't automatically feel defeated because she's been exposed to it. She's a little bit knowledgeable about what's in front of her. And as a parent, I feel like I owe that opportunity to her to show her that. And that's how we start building up our children. The respect level as for, how our young girls are treated and, the males they look to in life. We have to have some example of good males now that they can look up to be like, you know what? When I get older and I'm my mom's age, I want to find a man to be around like that. I want to find a man that, will make sure I have this first before he does. I want to find somebody that's responsible. Find somebody that's on time. Find somebody that's giving. Find somebody that's nurturing. If you don't have, if I don't have that male for myself and they don't see that, they're not gonna want to get it. They're not gonna want to shoot for that. And if I have opportunities where I can do whatever I want and I neglect my needs, they're gonna grow up and neglect their needs. So as women, as mothers, we have to be examples to our daughters on what women they should aim to be and surpass. Like, if I'm good, I want my children to be great. We have to do that. We have to continuously say our please and thank yous. We have to continuously be mindful of the things that we say out our mouths. We have to be mindful of the things we wear, how we wear them, where we wear them to, what we say to authority, how we groom ourselves. Are your nails clean? Are they appropriate? Is your hair clean? Is your house clean? Do you clean? Before you go to bed, what do? You brush your teeth, you clean up, you make sure everything's presentable. Do you prepare for the next day? What else? Do you fold and put laundry away, or do you just shove it in a room or in a corner or in a closet, or you leave stuff on the floor? Your girls are paying attention. So when you go in their rooms and you see it looking crazy and messy, 10 years down the line, and you're wondering, like, why don't you feel the need to clean that up? Because you never, created that habit for them. Like, my children know, like, at the end of the night, I'm cleaning the kitchen. There should be no dishes in the sink. There should be no toys on the floor. Everything should be put in its place. Everybody should be in the bathroom brushing their teeth and mouth washing and get in the bed. I'm coming with a book. Those are, habits we build with our children on some repetitive, efforts. And that's what you need to do when it comes to your daughters. And you need to understand that, you might not want to get your hair combed, but today we're combing your hair. And if you as a woman have your hair done and your nails done and your clothes looking presentable, and you don't mind your children leaving the house looking unpresentable, the hair is not combed, their teeth are not brushed, they have on, the wrong shoes is on the wrong foot, their clothes are dirty, that says a lot about you as a woman and as a parent. I don't care what you say. We are a unit, okay? We walk out the house and we look like a unit. We look like we all came from the same home with the same standards. That's what you have to do as young women. And please teach your young women, your daughters out here, that these boys now, these young men, they're not raised like your grandfather was, or your dad. That's a really great example. Nobody told them you shouldn't cuss at a woman, you shouldn't grab on a woman. Nobody's really pushing that you shouldn't hit on a girl or touch a girl inappropriately, or this is inappropriate. Nobody's really pushing that. So your daughters, teach them to keep their hands to themselves. No one has to do anything for them out in public. No one has to buy them anything. No one, okay? Let that young man do whatever he wants. as long as he keeps his hands to himself. Do not put your hands on any boy. Do not spit on anyone. Not a female, not a male, not a teacher, not a police officer, none of that. Respect yourself. Teach your young girls that. That's going to help society, okay? Teach your young girls that there's a time and a place to be dressed a certain way. My retail buying professor in college would say, you know, as a woman, you choose to show skin either on your top and make sure your bottom is covered, or you choose to show a little skin on the bottom and make sure your top is covered, but you never do both. I said, oh, that's what classy is. As soon as she said that, we were in class. This girl walks in late with her cleavage out and a mini skirt, making hella noise with all types of stuff in her bag, and sat at the emptiest seat, which was at the front. And she said at the front of the class, perfect example of what I just said. I said, girl, don't let your daughters be the daughters who are read by authority figures, teachers, professors. Don't let your daughters be the ones caught up in videos fighting in the street. Don't let your daughters be the one, cussing out the next person in the street or at a place of business or at work, or having no integrity about themselves. Teach your children integrity. Teach your daughters integrity and respect about themselves. As a mother, that's what you're supposed to be doing. As a father, listen, to raise young queens, you cannot be scared to have discussions that you need to discuss. Because one thing as a parent, if you don't discuss certain things with their kids, somebody else is going to. You're leaving it for the world to teach them. So I don't want to leave any holes on anything curiosity-wise with my daughters. So I'm just honest about everything. I'm honest about things that they want to hear, and I'm honest about things that they probably don't want to hear. And I'm honest about them being annoying, and I'm honest about their breath being stink, and I'm honest about the way that they say certain words, because the only reason why people do the wrong things that they do in adulthood and as teenagers, and why supervisors and managers and leaders at a workplace feel like they're babysitting, is because they weren't parented correctly. That's what it is. That's what it is. Somebody is always going to have to train your child if you don't do the correct training. Period. Now, let me get on these young kings. These young kings, okay? They are falling by the wayside. And that's due to lack of self-knowledge, self-worth, self-respect. Maybe their parents aren't around for whatever reason. Maybe one parent is around and, they don't understand the dynamics and the efforts that go into the work that has to be done in order to provide for them. And they might not get that quality time that they deserve to get because one parent is, overworked trying to make ends meet. So they have food, so they have a home, so they can play on the basketball team after school, so they can have uniforms, so they can have books and paper and pens and all of that. All of that adds up. And personally, as a single parent, I have two girls, and before I had kids, I always would say, I want a football team of boys. I want to have about 13 boys. Because I feel like it would do the world a lot of good having a lot of brown men out here who were raised in the most respectful, loving manner, so they can lead for generations to come. And I want to wanted to be a part of that. Now that I have 2 daughters, I still want a boy, but at the same time I'm scared if that does come about, because there's a lot against young brown boys in this world now. I mean, before I was born, I'm sure they were still, but now it's kind of like there's like super targets for being looked at to fail, super targets for not being represented enough in the best ways possible, super targets for authority figures to mistreat them, talk down to them, judged based on what they look like. They're always told that, you know, how they have their hair is not quote unquote presentable. Listen, stop. As long as a young man has a lineup, is not some crazy color, and his nails are clean, they are cut short, his clothes is the correct size, I don't have to see his underwear, he's wearing a belt, his shoes are clean, he's wearing socks, his breath does not stink, his teeth are brushed, and his skin is moisturized, sir, come forth. I have no problems with you, I have no issues with you. But we have to teach our young men that there's a way to look presentable. There's a way to gain that respect that you want. There's a way to, wear certain things for the right occasions. There's a way to talk to people to get your feelings across, so they don't assume what you're about to say by how you look. There's a way to do it. And I feel like if more parents were parenting to teach and not to just provide things, to teach. Come on, like, let's teach like these young men how to be great out here, because you don't have to understand that your kids are going to be the ones that have to take care of you. And if I don't teach my kids the greatest things that they can use later on, then I'm failing myself too. I'll be a failure to myself, and I don't want to be that. Like, these young men need to know, like, you too have feelings. There is a way that you can channel your anger. You could do sports, you could go to the gym. It's okay to talk to another older brown man. It's okay to feel misunderstood. There are books out here with people who had similar experiences that you are having. It is okay to read. It is okay to be different. It is okay to not go along with what everybody else is doing. Go against the grain. I encourage young men and young minds to go against the grain. Do something different. Think about it a different way. Like, we have to be like encouraging our young men, our young kings to do it how they want to do it. You know, teach them how to earn for themselves, so later on they won't just have goals to work for someone. And I'm not saying that all your children need to work for themselves and will work for themselves. Some people just don't have that personality or that drive to manage their own business. Some people don't have those organizational skills to format, how to do a successful business idea by themselves. It's okay, but always expose them to a lot more. and travel with these young brown men so they can understand that their environment is not the world. Their world is not the environment. There's so many other experiences that your young brown males can be having to change their perspectives on how they think. And I need parents to spend more time, or even if, because I remember my mom waking up early and making me and my brothers breakfast every morning for school. I understand today is a little bit different where both parents go out and they work. But make sure you actually spend time and you can cook for your kids some breakfast at least 3 times a week during the weekday. At least 3 days. On Sundays and Saturdays, definitely cook them something. But make that time. Make that commitment. Make that time, you know, when you get off of work. You know, if y'all all home at the same time, let's all sit around the table. A lot of families don't even sit around the table and have dinner anymore unless it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas or birthday or some event that their parents probably throwing at their house. I want to be able to see my kids' faces at the end of the day and the beginning of the day. I want to be able to talk about, you know, what happened today. I want to be able to catch their vibes. Hey, everything that's going on with your children, especially young brown men out here, any like mixed culture child where, you know, this world has a judgment on them and what they're going to become, they have questions. I had a lot of questions as a child sometimes that I just kept to myself, and I was like, you know what, I'll figure out the answer by myself. I don't want my kids to always have to figure out the answer by myself. I want my kids to Lord knows Anya talks a lot now. But I want her to always feel comfortable to come to me and ask me a question, or come to me and give me a situation about her day so I can, you know, analyze it and see, you know, what else happened that she didn't catch and what she experienced today. That's all going to come from the discussions you have with your kids. And if you're not talking to your kids, somebody else is talking to them, and you don't know what they're talking to them about, and that should worry you. And if your kids have friends and you know their personality and they're easily convinced or easily influenced, then it's up to you to put them in things that actually push them as a positive, to do positive things. And one thing that I want to do, maybe when my kids get a little bit older, is on these holidays where you know, a lot of children may feel entitled to get things. I want to take one of these holidays and go somewhere so they can give things to someone else. Do that every once in a while. Take your kids to volunteer. Show them there's a way to be compassionate in this world where, you know, society is just made to take and take and take and take. And oh, we need this too. You know what I'm saying? Get them in that mindset where it's not always about getting, so they can, you know, be out here striving to be better people. And teach them that it's okay to share, you know, the goodness that you have in your home. Like, if you know someone that doesn't have, you know, the best clothes or the best shoes, and, you know, your family is able to have more than enough, it's okay to want to give something you have, or give something you can give. That's an okay thing to do. If you're in the, you know, that financial bracket to give a little bit more of what you have because you have it to give it, give it. Like, I'm always going through, you know, my kids' things and finding, you know, what they've grown out of or what they don't use anymore, even like toys, and putting it in these donations for clothes and things like that. I've always done that. Toys, I'm always giving toys away because, to be honest, I'm really tired of buying toy boxes because they have so much toys. There's 5 toy boxes in my house. 2 little ones in my living room, 1 big one by the TV, and 2 in their room. You don't need that many toys. And a lot of these toys that these kids have, they don't even play with no more. And they grow out of it. And to have my home less cluttered, because I know people are going to buy them things for birthdays and holidays and Christmases, and my friends love to just send things in the mail randomly. We gonna do an exchange. We gonna take something old, get rid of it, and make place for this something new. Teach your kids that. Your young women and your young men, teach them that. And teach them, it's okay to be angry. Teach our young brown boys it's okay to have a cry. It's okay to not fully understand what's going on. But just be honest about, why you're upset right now because you don't understand something. It's okay. That's perfectly okay to not understand something. There's a lot of things right now, with me being at 31, that I don't understand. But always be open to listening and open to someone teaching you what it is that you don't understand. And just because, you're not the best in school doesn't mean you can't be great in life. A lot of great people in entrepreneur businesses really are not good school students. Not everybody needs to go to college. If you want to go to college, listen, go to college. But what I'm going to tell my girls is, if you do, exceptionally well in school, there are people out here who would love to fund for you to go to college free cost. You could go to any college, free of charge if you do your absolute best in school and, your GPA is exceptionally well, and follow what you love to do. Do what you love. Don't do it because it makes X amount of money. Because if you're really great at whatever it is you want to do, the money's going to come. The money's going to come. Because your options are going to be limitless. And if my girls want to go to college, they can go. They can go. But if you start, you're going to finish. I don't care. And you're not going, I'm not going to entertain the thought of you going to college if you haven't really thought about what you want to major in for at least 2 years prior. You have to go into college with a plan. That's the only way is going to be a success. That's the only way you're going to, push yourself to completely finish. It takes a lot of effort to fully do 2 full years of college without not giving up. 4 years of college, 10 years of college. Like, that takes dedication. And you have to know if your child has that dedicated attitude, that dedicated personality, that dedicated... You just have to know. You have to be sure. And I just feel like those are the things that are going to give us, our respect, give us our growth as a world, as if we really start pouring our efforts back into teaching our kids fundamentals, and that it's okay, to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have a cry. It's okay to listen and like different music and like different cultures and just respect everyone. be respected, it's okay. And it doesn't take putting down someone's for you to be great. Teach your young men and your young women it doesn't take being catty or petty to the next person in order for you to stand a little bit taller. You should be able to stand tall by yourself. You should be able to know when to walk away, from something that's not going to benefit you. If it's not going to get you anywhere further in the next 3 years and you're not going to think about it in the next 3 years, then whatever's in front of you right now is not worth it. Teach your kids that. Teach your kids that it's not an okay thing, when you see a situation going on where it's going to include fighting or pulling out a weapon or things getting thrown. It's not an okay thing to go for your phone first and record. That's not okay. And if your child is one of those children who, before they go get help, before a situation goes left and they pull out their phones, then that has me asking you, what are you not doing as a parent? I just want the respect back into our children. I want the self-knowledge back into our children. I want the style and the integrity and the confidence back into our children so they can be more independently thinking about what they want to go for in life. And that's only going to happen if, in your home, that's what you're pushing. I don't care about my children having cable and watching the shows that their friends are going to be watching. I don't care about them having the shoes that their friends are going to be having. Do your own thing. And there's more than, watching TV and being on social media when it comes to a child life. Let your children be children. Let your children be children so they can become great adults. I want the respect of kings and queens for my children and other people's children. And I want my daughters to grow up into young ladies and women who are proud to stand next to a man deserving of who they are. Period. That's all I wanted to say. My name is Shan. Those are my 2 cents, my 3 cents, my 4 cents, all my change. Y'all have a great day and think about what I said. And even if you don't have kids, guide your nephews and your nieces. Guide your young cousins. They have questions. Just be open to hearing those questions. You don't have to keep texting your friends. Open your texts up to texting your family so they make right decisions. Because to me, there's nothing like listening to someone in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and their 70s about their experiences and getting some wisdom. That wisdom is going to help you not make 10 more mistakes. I promise. It's going to help your children not make 10 more mistakes. And if you are a single parent and your children need a mentor, look into these boys and girls clubs. Or look around you to like a man or a woman who doesn't mind spending a little bit of time every once in a while with your kids and being that guide or that male position in their life to push them in the right direction. Because a lot of times, if you're the opposite sex of your child, they're not trying to look to you for advice, because everything that you're going to come out your mouth, they're going to think, no, you're trying to make me. But if somebody else says the same thing, they'll be like, oh, okay. Sometimes it's just how kids are. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. This is just a drive-in. It's kind of long, but it needed to be said. And I didn't want to wait to share it. I just feel like it needs to be said. Toodles!
Good night, good night, good night, good night.